working on a project in here in my mudroom. I'm trying to get remotivated to continue remodeling in here while it's bitter cold outside. We're having some really cold weather right now. So I thought I'd bring it in here and show you a little bit about what I'm doing to this area. That this was actually a bedroom. And, well, let me just turn my camera around and I'll show you better. And I am converting it, so I still ain't got that piece back up, into a mudroom. And that goes into my den right through there. And there's a room there and a bathroom right behind this wall here. But anyway, where I'm converting it, this closet was just a single door closet. And I opened it up and I'm about to trim it out. So you can tell where I had to cut out the drywall and stuff. And I'm going to trim it out with this. What did I do with it? This right here. It's kind of like a paneling. It's a real flimsy type board. But you can pretty much score it with a knife of some sort or whatever. And it'll pretty well break off for you. So I'm trimming it out on the inside with that first. And then I'm going to trim it out with the molding here that I've got. I had actually brought these pieces in here thinking I might use those, but I'm not going to. But this bench here, this was my toy box when I was a kid. It's been painted and it's been different things. It used to be just solid wood colored. And it was my toy box. Me and my brother, all of us. But you can see where we wrote on it, wrote in cursive. It's got my brother's name on it. It must have been when he was trying to learn to write his name. My brother wrote all over it. You can see crown. If you can tell that some of that's crowns. So it's kind of cool on the inside. So I don't think I'm going to paint it on the inside. And I'm going to cover the top. I brought these in here, but they're not going to be the right size to do that with. So I've got another plan, and I'll show you that as we go. And I'm going to use some material. I was going to use this material too, but I've decided that I'm going to use a navy blue instead. A piece of white stuff that was out. That's my door that I'm going to be putting in there, so you can see it better now. I had to have that stuff that was up there in front of that door to do this trim work. So we'll show you what it's looking like. Put the top one on, which I'll have to putty all these places and all that kind of good stuff and trim it, make it look right, look neat. But all I'm doing is I'm just measuring here. And I won't just measure up here. I'll go down. I'll measure about 3 different places as you go down, because most of the time walls ain't quite right. So that's my next step here. Okay, guys. I brought this in here and I measured off 2 1/4 all the way up and down through here. I'm going to use this is a straight edge to draw my line. And I'll use this to slice down through there and get a good firm slice in it, and then I can bend it, and I'll show you that after I get to that point. Show you my wet noodle. This is my Mama's wet noodle. It says Mama loves you, see? Whenever I was a kid, I had a Sunday school teacher who had a ruler that she would smack our hands with if we done anything we wasn't supposed to do, and bend our hand back and smack it right on the bone there. Boy, that sucker stung like a bee. But I made that and stuck it up in here where the kids' toy room is at. And she always called it the wet noodle, so that's what I call it too, the wet noodle. But anyway, I haven't had to use it. I threatened with it, but I haven't had to use it. Praise God. As you can see here, I just bent that, and it popped right loose after I scored it real good. Got to be careful some of these places like that. There that one is. I gotta make one more like that, and then I'll be putting them up. Just after you score it on top, bend it up, not down first, and then down after you bend it up. Here's my tap. It's just what they use to get the rest of those nail heads down flush so you can caulk them good. And you just stick that, and I know most of you people probably know what I'm doing, but you tap it a little harder, which these actual nails I'm using aren't the ones made for it, so you got to be sure you stay on it. But you just do that to all of them. so that when you caulk that, it'll be more flush. And then there'll be painting to do, which I won't have to prime it because it's already got that on it, which is cool. So that's what you do, guys. Got the front side parts on and those inner pieces. I'm working on this top now. And it's what I have done, because I've got to cut this one, is I've measured from this bottom to that bottom, and it was 46 inches. And what I did is I took this other piece of molding that I had, and I started on the skinny end, like that, like up there, the shorter end, and measured 46, which was here. And then I went ahead and took this just for extra measure. You don't have to. You can just turn this to 45 degrees, which is what I'm going to have to do anyway. But I like to do this too, just for extra measure. And I just laid this up there to that 46 mark and laid it there and traced it out. That way, that's extra measure, knowing that it should fit snug as a bug perfectly. If not, caulk will take care of the rest. One-handed, but all you have to do is twist this out, and then I can't turn it. Well, if this was mounted down, which it's not, it's in my rod room, I would be able to twist this to 45 and then cut it. And hold the phone. So I want to squirt a little caulk on there. It's better to have painter's caulk, which I'm out of painter's caulk, but I've got some silicone white caulk, so I'm going to go ahead and use it, because I'm going to paint this white anyway. And you just squirt it, put a little in the hole, or you can use spackle or just whatever you got, but that's what I've got to caulk. Our joint compound, I got some joint compound, I might use it, and smear it off with a real thin spatula, putty knife or whatever, and that will hide all your holes, and let that dry, and it'll be ready for painting. So that looks a ton better than it did. Got my trim up, I got it caulked real good and everything, so it looks pretty good. It's got to be painted yet, but I'll have to let that dry real good. I am going to, there's some corner molding where we're going to do our beam at in the living room, that when I take it down, I'm going to wrap it around the back side of this, so there'll be some corner molding on there as well. But let me show you while that's doing its thing, I want to show you this. Don't suggest this just from any thrift store. You got to know your thrift stores, because you never know if some people get infested with bed bugs or whatever. But I like to get these mattress pads that they have at thrift stores, and I'm going to actually use it to padding this bench before I cover it. But also is what my primary reason I get them is I use them as batting for my quilts. It's 100 times cheaper, and it's easy to work with, and it's just the right thickness. So that's an idea, guys. So let me get this cut out and start getting it put on, and we'll come back. Batting on, which I always cut things a little bigger than you think you're going to need, because you can always take it off, but you can't add it to it. So I'm just putting that, stapling that to the lip of this, to the lip, because the material itself is going to overlap and go underneath here. But I always cut more, that way you can cut some off and get it done. So all I got to do is staple this side, and then I'll be ready for my material. Folded this. I'm taking these sides down and under before I staple them. That'll give you an idea how I do the corners. Doing any type of upholstery, be sure, see, this is the front of my bench, and this is the back, and this is going to be in this corner over here, so it's not going to be seen. So that way, the last place that I'm coming into is probably going to be the ugliest part, just because I'm no professional, for one thing, but also because it's the end of it. So I suggest to kind of pay attention to that. Be sure that you come to the back side of your corner. I just like the color difference. I want to show you right quick. I folded that up underneath here and stapled it. And then is what I'm going to do is from the center of this back, I'm going to pull it. And this is what I did with the batting too. And pull it straight in the center and staple it here. And then work my way out that way. And the same goes this way. And that way you get it good and tight and all that kind of good stuff, because it will loosen up. So kind of pull on it some. You don't have to over pull, but pull on it pretty good to, you know, get the lines out of it and staple it down, and then do like I said with the corners, do all that, and then come on this side and work your way to this corner where it'll be least seen. And that's what we're doing. We'll see what it looks like here in a minute. There she goes. All I gotta do is paint now. Got my little stool done. I put those on there. Those pillows don't actually go there. They're for my porch when I have a porch. But I'll set them there for the now. My little mud closet. It'll work.